Hi, everyone. It's Tom Selleck. Thanks for joining us again. Have you ever thought about getting a reverse mortgage on your home? You can trust me. I trust these folks. A reverse mortgage is one fantastic way to free up some cash, take a vacation, pay off those credit cards. Now, I'm a successful actor, probably own a half dozen homes, and I'd never take a reverse mortgage on any of them, but you should. Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fired up about that. Fired up for the 2-hour program. Fired up that it's Friday. Fired up that it's the weekend. Fired up that LSU knocked out Wake Forest. Fired up that LSU continues to play college baseball. This round for the national title versus the Florida Gators starting tomorrow night. Fired up for Fletcher Mackel joining us in about 15 minutes. Well, sort of. Fired up for Michael Hecht joining us in 30 minutes from Greater New Orleans, Inc. That segment always brought to you by Laitram. Fired up about the 5 o'clock power hour because it's the 5 o'clock power hour and it's a Fantasy Friday. We're going to blow that 5 o'clock whistle. Also, Frank Brigtsen will join us from his restaurant out in the Riverbend area of the Carrollton section of Uptown. Hot summer day, lots of this stuff, H2O water. Stay fired up. Be happy, but stay hydrated. Lots of agua, H2O water. I just took a big old sip of some cold water. So refreshing. When thirsty, cold water is fantastic. Rouse's Markets phone lines, if you'd like to participate in the program, 766-9480. 766-9480. I believe it is mile marker 18, according to social media. A major accident on the Causeway northbound. The Causeway Bridge is closed. You cannot enter the Causeway in Metairie right now. Have to take I-10 to I-55. That would be I-10 West, obviously. I-10 East. Go around to I-12 from Slidell. I don't know what the status is of the Highway 11 bridge. I want to say that bridge is reopened, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, Causeway Bridge closed for, I would guess, the next 45 minutes or so till roughly 5 p.m., something like that. And then there's going to be a lot of traffic on I-10, a lot of traffic on Causeway Boulevard. So I don't know what to tell you. I can tell you this. We accept stuff like this. I doubt the I-10 New Orleans East to Slidell, and I have no idea of the accident. Could there be an accident that's on the Causeway right now that if it were an I-10, the bridge would be shut down? Maybe so. I doubt it. I don't know the extent of this accident, but I doubt almost any accident would shut down the new I-10 from New Orleans East to Slidell. I'm not saying there wouldn't be traffic. I'm not saying it wouldn't be down to a crawl. I'm just saying you've got about 3 wide lanes of traffic right now. And then you've got 2 shoulders that are pretty large. You get police out there quickly or people using common sense. That's a tough one. You could get around the accident and traffic would continue to flow. Now, these 2 Causeway bridges, they're just beyond antiquated. They're beyond outdated. It's mind-blowing that we haven't built a 3rd and 4th Causeway by now. First bridge, 1956. Second bridge, 1969. Third bridge should have been built mid-'80s, maybe 1988 or something at the latest. and maybe a fourth span built by like '05 around Katrina under construction. And then the first span would go about a mile out in each direction and would be a fishing pier. The second span would be still there in its present form for, I don't know, motorcycles, vehicles carrying glass, 18-wheelers, would run one way in the morning, the other way in the afternoon, save it for hurricane evacuation. And then you'd have two new spans, bridges 3 and 4, built over time. But it's Metro New Orleans. And the bottom of our economy fell out 40 plus years ago, even with continued growth on the North Shore and affluent people with a little wherewithal and money. The ka-clunk, 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 coming back from the North Shore to the South Shore every day, ka-clunk, ka-clunk, ka-clunk. Worse in an SUV or truck, just a bouncy ride that you've gotten used to, that you accept. And the newer bridge from the South Shore to the North Shore, not all that great either. Hard to pass, no lane to pull over in, no shoulder for the entire length of the bridge. Now, it is kind of mind-blowing in North America, a city like New Orleans. I shouldn't say that. A major North American city that we haven't built a couple more bridges, but then it is New Orleans. And we neglect infrastructure in Louisiana and New Orleans. We're not too interested in that type of thing. And we haven't had an economy in 30 or 40 plus years to drive the infrastructure to pay for that infrastructure. But North Shore residents, I'm not gloating in it. I don't enjoy it, but this is what you have to deal with by settling and accepting this bridge. And I'll pay the $5 toll or the $3 toll tag toll over, say, twice or more of a toll, literally twice or more, to have brand new bridges. The Causeway is like the best toll bridge bargain price-wise in the United States of America, maybe. It's a cheap toll. I don't know where there's a cheaper toll when you're going that many miles on a bridge over water or a bridge on anything. Anyway, no, North Shore folks, this is what you have to deal with. The ka-clunk, ka-clunk, ka-clunk of the old span, traffic, one lane, the police driving you across, cones on the bridge, 40 miles an hour because of fog, blah, 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 because it's an outdated yesteryear bridge that's pseudo-dangerous. And when there's a wreck, like today's wreck, it can shut down the entire bridge. And that's just unfortunate. That sucks. We should be a lot better than that in New Orleans, huh? Hey, coming up in a few minutes, Fletcher Mackel's going to join us. Yeah, you right. What a week for LSU baseball. What a week for LSU baseball fans. Jay Johnson, the head coach. Scott Woodward, the AD that hired him. The program, the fans in Omaha, the fans that have been watching each and every weeknight this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6 o'clock, 6:07, first pitch on ESPN. ESPN2 last night. No, just incredible. LSU beating Wake Forest, second day in a row, 2 out of 3 times this week, in extra innings, no less. Their pitcher, Louder, with the long hair. LSU's pitcher, Skeens, with the mustache. Just a great pitching duel, a classic. Tomorrow at 6, LSU and Florida. Best 2 out of 3 for the national championship. They'll play again Sunday afternoon and, if needed, Monday night. All SEC national title game. Boy, Trey Morgan, that defensive play, that's the play of the game with Tommy White's walk-off. What a great week for LSU baseball fans, especially during the lull of summer. Every night, something to look forward to watching. And Monday night was a loss, put you in a loser's bracket where you didn't want to be, but you rip off 3 straight to earn that 2 out of 3 title round with Florida. Just really great stuff. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. That shot challenge, it's really Rocco's paying off their mortgage, that bar in Omaha. You know, I heard they're giving it's to benefit the homeless. Goes to like food shelters and stuff. Shouldn't say homeless, food shelters. $1.50 of the $5 goes to the food shelter, which is great. $1.50 of the $5. Good for the food shelter. $3.50 goes to Rocco's. They're using Dobra vodka. I bet you cost them like 30, 40 cents a Jello shot. They're making about $3 a shot.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years.
serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. I got to give it to that Rocco's guy up in Omaha. He's a genius. Hey, this is for the food bank, and $1.50 is for the food bank. But they're $5 a crack. You figure it's like Aristocrat or Dobra vodka, just the rot gut stuff. Less than 50 cents a shot. He's profiting about $3 each one. So when Todd Graves goes in and puts down $30,000 so LSU wins the shot contest, Rocco's takes in about 18 grand. The food bank gets 12,000. It's great for the food bank. I'm not saying it's not, but the big winner is Rocco's. It was a 6-figure banner week. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit off of the shots alone for Rocco's. No, genius. Especially when you connect it to the charity and you are giving to the charity. I thought in the beginning it was like most of the proceeds to the charity and maybe just some expenses and costs, and Rocco's is going to be luring people in and, getting a little money made off the drinks. Anyway, Corey Johnson, always with the positive angle on things. Fletch, how are you?
I am doing well, Corey. Thanks for having me.
I had to break down the Rocco shot thing.
It's all good.
No, what a great atmosphere in Omaha. Just in general, I've never been. I know you've been a bunch of times. LSU makes it different for that town, don't they?
It's just completely different. I mean, look, there's fans that go, they see it for the first time. It's an amazing experience. It's too long. Let me just tell you that college baseball is a niche sport and they still haven't figured out a sane championship. That being said,
well, what the 8 teams is too long, you're saying?
Eight teams in potentially 12 days for one championship. That doesn't sound too long to you?
No, it's baseball though, and it's summertime, and I thought they always should have pushed it back just another couple more weeks and have it fall on the 4th of July. Why not that?
Well, I'll say this. This is my biggest argument. But just to answer your question, Omaha is great. The experience is great. They embrace it. It's truly a sports amazing moment. I always tell fans, go for the first weekend and leave, or wait and see if they do what they're doing now and go for the championship weekend. But the people that withstood the test of time, they deserve medals besides the parents, because it's a long trip to commit to 12 days. But here's the thing. This is what I don't like about it. And this is what I get upset about. And I say this as somebody who played college baseball, who really enjoys college baseball, and who thought the game last night was maybe the best college baseball game I've ever seen in my life. This is what I don't like. We're going to play a national championship with two programs that are some of the most decorated in the history of the sport, in the University of Florida and LSU. It's amazing. It's awesome. And the player in the country who won the Heisman Trophy of college baseball, the Dick Hauser Award,
won't be participating.
The number one pick in the draft. He will not be on the field to win or decide the national championship in any single way.
Now, there's no shot Skeens will come in relief on Monday.
Let me say this: maybe a 1% chance.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And let me say this, and I doubt then that they do it, because look, I think pitch counts are silly. I think it's about, people don't understand it, and there's so many people that want to be outraged right now about sports and life and things like that. Dismiss some of these people that don't know anything about baseball. If a guy throws 125 pitches and then has 5 or 6 days off, goes through the proper arm care, is been doing this for 5 months now. That's perfectly okay. Some of these people now see high pitch counts and go, that seems dangerous. No, it doesn't. It seems dangerous if they pitch 2 or 3 days later. Skeens pitched on 4 days, which is about minimal rest. So he's gone 126, 121. Let's say he gives them 1 inning of relief at 25 or 30. You're talking like 300 pitches in about a week. Look, I don't like the people that start to get kind of chippy on social media, but they're starting to trend into dangerous, irresponsible territory with a guy that's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
LSU is, you're saying, if they used him in relief?
If they pitch Schemes again, look, he's 6'5", 240. He's 21 years old. He's an awesome athlete. I get it. He could probably physically go out there and give him a few innings. Should they do that, though, knowing that is tremendous wear and tear on a young guy who throws 100 miles an hour? So
you're saying they should not?
He should be completely shut down. Okay. Absolutely, positively.
Now, before we got off on this tangent, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were about to say, and that's a problem with the College World Series as well. Yeah. The best player in the country won't be playing this weekend in the best of 3 national championship. That's insane. That's what you're saying?
That's an embarrassment to the sport. That how do you have sub-regionals, super regionals, and then a tournament? And now we get to this is it. 300 plus teams play college baseball. 2 are left standing. One of those 2 teams features the best player in the sport, maybe the best pitcher in recent history of the sport, who's going to be a major leaguer. And we won't see him at all.
So what's the solution, Fletch? Do you have a super duper regional, like a third, and then you go to Omaha, and then so you don't screw over Omaha, it's a best out of 5 or something?
So what I would say is the simple fix is this, is you reformat the brackets to get a Final Four, just how basketball does, okay? Right now, they have the bracket set up to produce 8 teams.
Gotcha.
And spit out 8 teams. What I would say is you have brackets set up just like NCAA at March Madness, and you spit out 4 teams. And those, you can still make it. I don't love the fact that it's so long, but I get that it's baseball. So what I would do is have a Final Four go to Omaha, and the games would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 1 and 6, just like they are now.
Yep.
And when that is said and done, we have 2 teams. So you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday if necessary. And then everybody gets maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, and you have a national championship Thursday, Friday, Saturday if necessary. You do the whole thing in a max of 8 days.
You want to do it? I got you. See, I think you could have extended playoffs at that point, and it wouldn't matter. You could have a super duper regional where the 8 would get down to 4, and then send those 4 a week later to Omaha, and that would be your deal. Hey, let's save this for another day. Let's talk about last night. As you said earlier, you've been playing a long time, and you're a pitcher. Extra inning pitching duel, 11 innings. The Tommy White walk-off. How about Trey Morgan's defensive play?
I mean, look, it was all unbelievable. I mean, it reminded me of Jeter in 2001 against the Oakland A's when he caught that ball and did the flip, and it was fantastic. I mean, look, it was a gutsy call by Tom Walter to do a safety squeeze. LSU knew that it may be coming. Look, that's not an automatic safety squeeze situation to try to do something like that. He could have easily let his guy swing away.
Yep.
And having a first baseman coming in like that, it is not exactly, it could have worked out poorly for LSU. So, again, for LSU to have game planned it and knew that it was a possibility, for Tom Walter to have the guts to call it, because it's not exactly, that's kind of like ambush Sean Payton opening up the second half of the Super Bowl with an onside kick, a safety squeeze type situation. And then Trey Morgan, look, again, people say, "Oh, the guy bunted it right at him." Yeah, well, he still had to field it cleanly.
No, come on. He had to run closer to home plate than he was from first, about 2/3 of the way there. And he
still had to field it. And here's the thing. He still had to field it on the run.
Yep.
Field it perfectly cleanly and make a nice flip. Like, again, people don't understand the level of difficulty to some of these plays.
No, he catches it on the run, in the glove, his hands already moving into the glove to catch it and fling it to the catcher a millisecond behind the ball. No, just a perfect play. The dad happy, so great. Hey, Fletch, real quick, because we're on time. First off, I thought a blunder early in the week, the Wake Forest player, like, who can beat us? We can't be beat. That was the first mistake. Last night in the dugout, middle of the 10th inning, all these players hugging Lauder. I was blown away. Like, is Wake up 12-zip? Are they down 12-zip? Have they already conceded the game? I thought that was a major mistake. LSU players weren't hugging Skeens. That's for later. The hugging of the pitcher, I swear, I thought it brought down that dugout. I was shocked.
I don't know. I'm okay with it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
There's a game going on to play for the national title, and they're more worried about their relationship with the pitcher all these years together. Save it.
Yeah, I think they were tipping their hat to, again, like, sure, everybody deals with things differently. Some teams are emotional. Some teams are guarded. Skeen's is not an overly emotional guy. He got a little bit more of that military,
15 seconds. 15 seconds.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Okay, no, I was shocked. I was like, why are they hugging the pitcher? 3, 4, 5 players in a row. I don't see that happening in LSU in their dugout. Fletch, a pleasure. Have a great week. We'll see you next Friday.
All right, Bert.
That's Fletcher Mackel joining us. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday. Michael Hecht is next.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location. Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality benchmark products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Laitram family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Laitram company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's Laitram.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you right. Laitram, a culture of innovation, and they're hiring. Go to Laitram.com for a full listing of positions available. Laitram spelled Laitram. Laitram.com. That shrimp peeling machine they invented 70 years ago, constantly being updated, improved, still the industry leader around the world. And that led to an even bigger item, the all-plastic modular conveyor belt. Intralocks, Laitram, the industry leader around the world. Laitram.com. Hey, this segment each and every week brought to you by Laitram. Michael Hecht is with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. How you doing, Michael?
Doing great, brother. Let me ask you a question before you start asking me questions, okay?
Yep.
If you were an innovative company like Laitram, what would be your motto?
I mean, a culture of innovation is pretty good. If I were Laitram, what would be my motto?
What would be your, culture? It would be Corico, a culture of procrastination. What would it be?
That's a good one. I don't know, Michael. I mean, Laitram, we spend a lot of time at the patent office getting approval.
I'm gonna go with Corico, a culture of awesome. I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah, I thought that was a lot better than the procrastination thing.
Yeah, that was mean.
I'm not a procrastinator. I'm just a little unorganized at times.
Yeah. No, a culture of awesome. I'm going to go with that. Let's let people interpret that. They will.
It actually is, though. I mean, if you've ever been over there, and I know you have, it's a lot of happy people working in that place. It's like, I know that sounds like lame. I don't think there's a lot of people that go to Laitram and they're bummed out they're going to work. They're happy.
People are, it's what's so interesting about the place is how effective the culture is. I mean, it is really, because they're like, well, they're making articulated conveyor belts. They're making shrimp peelers. Like, that doesn't sound like a rah-rah kind of environment. The people who work there really are loyal. They really love it. It's a pretty fascinating case study, actually, on the overweening importance of culture. The foundation of culture.
And for New Orleans, it's sort of for, I'd say, 95% of the population fully unaware of this entity. 80 acres in Elmwood on off River Road. They keep growing so much they crossed over Jefferson Highway, and they're over by Distributors Row. They took up a whole city block there, Michael. It's insane. Another few acres.
Yeah, you wouldn't. you wouldn't find it, over in Elmwood unless you were trying to go to like a bouncy park and you got lost, right?
Yeah, no, well, there's Laitram Lane, but yeah, you're right. You got to kind of snake all around in there, and then it's dozens and dozens of buildings, some of them with Laitram or interlocks on them, and some of them with nothing on them. So yeah, you might be right in there on their campus and not even know it, no doubt. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, Michael, what's this recruiting restart for the NOPD all about?
Well, years ago, Police and Justice Foundation took over the advertising to try to attract applicants. And it was never meant to be a permanent thing, but it kind of ended up being, kind of like just an apt example, a homeless encampment that becomes semi-permanent. It was never meant to be there forever, but it just became a long-term thing. And so now, I think the right decision, everybody agrees, is being made to bring it back in-house. The question is, okay, now what's the plan, though, right? Because the real issue was not the work Police and Justice was doing, which was bringing in people to the top of the funnel. It is the yield. So, by comparison, I think Atlanta converts 9% of applicants. We usually hang out between 1% and 2%. So Atlanta is, between 500 and 900% better than us at conversions once they apply. And the biggest drop-off is between applicant and test taker. It's the first step. So that's really where we need to focus.
Hey, Michael, these carbon capture injection wells, what's the big fight right now? Having the feds regulate it in Louisiana or have Louisiana regulated? One thing I will say, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic or cynical, I'm all for all of this, but also it has to be done right. It has to be regulated correctly. We can't have any screw-ups. And I don't have any confidence in the feds really, overseeing it, even under Biden, and they're hyper environmental, over the top in some ways. And quality, I think DEQ works for the oil and gas industry and the chemical industry and not the citizens of Louisiana. But what's the big take right now? The state or the feds regulating this?
Well, the issue, those concerns kind of notwithstanding, and I think they're valid concerns and questions, is that over the past 12 years, 13 years, the feds have only been able to issue 2 permits for carbon capture. They have just been unable or unwilling to actually do it under any circumstances through multiple administrations. So we really have no choice, particularly given that in the Biden package, the IRA, there are billions of dollars of incentives for carbon capture. So,
Gotcha.
It's difficult for, it's the problem with this administration is just, it's not that their policy is good or bad. It's that it's so disjointed. And that's what's going on here. It's like, man, you're telling us you want us to do this for offering enhanced incentives to do this. And then yet
you're selling rolling papers and bongs and weed's not legal. What's up with this?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. No, what the rolling paper and bongs are for tobacco products.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. I remember I'm at LSU. I'm in Hatcher Dorm. I go into stadium concessions. I'm an 18-year-old freshman at Tiger Stadium. The concessions in the dorm part on a Tuesday, not during a game. And I go in there to get like a Coke and some chips, and they're selling rolling papers at LSU, a public university. I was like, what's going on here? This is strange. That's for another program, Michael. Hey, roof relief. Tell us about a grant program aimed at improving the quality of roof construction in Louisiana.
Yeah, well, this is good. There's money that's now been set aside in the legislature, $30 million for homeowners to participate in a program called Fortified Roofs. When you do this, it's a different way of either building or fortifying your roof that allows you to get pretty significant reductions on your wind part of your policy. And so even as we're trying to work on the abuses by the lawyers, which are a major problem when it comes to wind policy, when it comes to insurance, this is a proactive, positive way that homeowners can protect themselves. So if they want to know more about it, they should Google Louisiana Fortified Roof Program, and they can find out about how to apply. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Hey, Michael, the Louisiana legislature is mind-boggling to me. You know, it is. There's 105 House reps. There's 39 senators. I've worked up there when I was at LSU. I was a disillusioned 19-year-old who got more disillusioned when I went up there and said, these guys aren't that special or have any leadership skills or kind of more intelligent than anyone else. It was very disappointing. And then as time went on, I just saw, it's like a fraternity house up there, essentially. They're building a Hugo. Year in, year out, they build a Hugo. So if I'm a senator or a House rep, I'm not bragging about that you won an election in Louisiana. You're building a Hugo year in, year out. I wouldn't be proud of that. So anyway, the latest and greatest is Republican, Democrat crap, country versus New Orleans crap, whatever you want to call it. These political games where the legislature in Baton Rouge ends up cutting the nearly $2 billion port funding for St. Bernard, and then the power plant at the Sewage and Water Board. I'm just like, it makes me want to move, Michael. I swear, it makes me want to move.
Well, I mean, the worst part about it is that it wasn't even intentional. I mean, the thing, let's take the port. What happened there is that Ray Garofalo is part of this group of fiscal hawks that voted against spending the surplus on projects that Louisiana needs. Now, I'm not going to comment on that. You can have your opinions. Mine is that what most of the Republicans and Democrats wanted to do was a perfectly smart use of the funds. But anyway, so to punish him, in the last few minutes, they went through a list of all 19 people who voted against what Republican House leadership wanted them to do, and they just took out projects in each of their districts.
Wow.
So they looked at Garofalo, and they're like, oh, he wants $130 million for his port. No way. And they just ixnayed it without any thought to the fact that the port is actually for the whole state. It just happens to be located in Violet. So somebody said, man, that's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. I said, it's more like you've got a mosquito on your nose and you use a sledgehammer
to swat the mosquito. That's so right. Michael, hang on. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side. Don't move.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. Big bucks. We do all makes and models, and it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Love getting Michael Hecht on each and every week from Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, Michael, please continue with the mosquito on the nose with the sledgehammer where you are. I want to throw this little caveat in there. You know what I tell my friends that get a little jaded on New Orleans, and a lot of them that moved out? I don't come into the city. My wife doesn't want to go. It's dangerous. Blah, blah, it's all this crap. You know, I'm like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you got to have your head on a swivel. It does suck, but I'm not going to my city, blah, blah, blah. I tell them, Michael, I say, don't go to Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Nashville, Austin. You see your friends in these new cul-de-sac neighborhoods, come back to New Orleans all distraught. You don't compare it to that generic lame, duplicated scenario all across America. Think of New Orleans as a European city, almost second worldish in a way, in some ways. And the priority on eating and partying and, chilling out and mañana and procrastinating and all that is as important as capitalism and making a living. So that's what I tell my friends. And I say, if you have the mentality of some of these go-getters in other cities, it gives you an edge in New Orleans. You're probably going to be better than the competition with that mentality. So that's how I try to put a positive spin. It's Europe, not U.S.
I think that we have to be able to take that attitude and sometimes think about New Orleans as the northernmost Caribbean city.
Yep.
At the same time that we, refuse to adopt, this attitude of accepting mediocrity and so forth. And, it might sound weird, but I think we can kind of do both. I was with some friend the other day having drinks, and we did kind of one of those what-if scenarios. And we were like, okay, let's say, work notwithstanding, you could live in any city you wanted to in America, right? Any city right now. Where would you live? And we just sat there kind of going through. No.
Exactly.
No. And we came right back to New Orleans because every other place was deficient in some important way. to us. So it's, but look, we're not talking about making New Orleans Singapore. We're talking about, going from D-level services to B-level.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly, Michael. So well said. So well said. Hey, but please continue with the port money and the power plant sewage and water board money.
Well, no, look, in both of these cases, we're going to be fine. The port money for the road is still there. The port money for planning is still there. This was long-term money. There's always money. It was more that this created a negative message to our partners in the port that we had to do damage control on. So, it wasn't fatal. It was just unfortunate. But it kind of the downside, this wouldn't have happened for better or worse if Ilaria were still in the legislature. It was an issue of legislative control. And so on one hand, it's good that the legislature is now more independent because frankly, there's a lot of stuff we're getting done that would have been killed before. But then you have these type of rogue movements.
No, I hear you. Just such a scary comment. If that crooked, corrupt, out for himself, friends and family, 50 years as a legislator producing absolutely zero was still there, we wouldn't have this problem. John Ilaria, what a friggin' nightmare. Hey, Michael, real quick, the port's like $1.8 billion. How much is the road from Violet to the I-510? That's got to be hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think 500 million is the number that I hear. The reality is that by the time that's done, that's probably $1 billion project. I mean, you know how that goes, right? But one of the ways that it can get done is as a toll road, as a private project, because it'll pay for itself. It will be a toll road for trucks. So paying for that's not a problem. The numbers work on that, whether it's public or it's private or some combination.
Gotcha.
And it will happen. It's politically and logistically it has to happen.
I hope there's another, a few hundred million, if not $1 billion, to go from 510 to I-10, I-610, the Florida Avenue Expressway into, that kind of New Orleans own Spaghetti Junction, as it were, by the Lowe's on Elysian Fields. That's Florida Boulevard. Hey, Michael Ochsner, what a cool connection there with MD Anderson, right?
Yeah, it's, Ochsner is knocking it out of the park. One of 7 places in the country now with a formal relationship with MD Anderson for cancer. That's a big deal, obviously, putting us in the big leagues and means that people who used to fly to Houston will now stay here. It's a wealth preserver. Right?
Nice.
It's like a flavor saver for local wealth. They've also got the medical school going with Xavier, and they've got this neuroscience center of excellence that's being built, which is part of our strategy for us to become a center of destination healthcare for neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's.
Hey, we got about a minute. Where's the Xavier Medical School going to go?
I don't know. People have said that it needs to go out in the east to be part of the New Orleans East Hospital. I get that from a facility standpoint, but I just don't understand logistically and in terms of
exactly
why it doesn't go on their campus.
No,
right?
exactly. It should go in between, over towards Earhart into Pigeon Town over there, Gert Town. Excuse me, Gert Town.
They've got space.
They got so much space. That would be a beautiful thing for Gert Town. That'd be such a leg up. That'd be like City Hall going into Central City. Hey, do you want to wait till next week to talk about LSU and Elite Energy and also another win for Wind?
Let's wait until next week when LSU are world championships in baseball. We'll talk about it then.
Boy, Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson, holy smokes.
I know. We'll be long, we'll be proud.
Yep, they're getting it done. Michael, the key word this weekend, hydration.
Of any sort.
Jeez and Pete's, it's getting hot. It's summer. It's summer with an AH on the end in New Orleans. Hey, there's Blue Boy. What's that, buddy? Thank Michael Hecht for coming on the program. Thanks, Miguel.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joining us on the program. Corey Johnson with you, 5 o'clock Power Hour next. Good boy, Blue.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. Then we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Stella Brennan Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Laitram family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Laitram company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone. He's gaining on you, so
I was a fan of Racer X, Sparky Plugs, the mechanic of Speed Racer, and of course his girlfriend Trixie. How could you not like a girl that flies around in a helicopter? Yeah, you're driving tonight, Trixie. Pick me up in the front yard. I'll walk down the block. Pick me up in that big parking lot. We'll go land on the roof somewhere of a nice building and go dine somewhere. Yeah, Trixie, that was the best part about Speed Racer. His girlfriend flew around in a helicopter all the time. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. The weekend is upon us. You can't beat that. I love this time of the week. You want to know why? Because 100% of the work week essentially in the books. It's a little after 5 o'clock on a Friday. For most folks, they've punched the clock, they're done for the week. And if that's not good enough, 100% of the weekend smack dab in front of us. I love this little limbo period. We shine a light on this time spot each and every week. We recognize it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. We recognize it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. Yes, we do. And the 5 o'clock whistle brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Getting off work, that's where you want to be. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Lunch, dinner, 6 days a week. Brunch on Sunday. And open all day long. So folks getting off work that live in that neighborhood, Katie's is their place. Folks that don't live in that neighborhood, beeline down to Katie's in that neighborhood because it's their place. And they have folks that live nowhere near Katie's, not even in Orleans Parish, that are there a few times a week, sitting at the bar, shooting the you-know-what with others, New Orleans characters having a good time. Yeah, why aren't you at Katie's right now? And don't forget about Scott Craig's other place. You folks out in Lakeview know about Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. About 15 different specialty deli sandwiches to choose from off the menu, or build your own sandwich, choosing the bread, the meat, the dressing, the cheese, the extras. It's like Katie's fantastic pizza oven. Great dough, great sides, making a great pizza at Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison in Lakeview. And don't forget about Katie's in Mid-City. 5 o'clock whistle on a Friday. Yeah, you right. Brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I just like saying that over and over again because the word Friday's in it. Reaffirming that the weekend is upon us. Did I say, yeah, you right already? Yeah, I think I did. Hey, I'm just telling it like it is. Take it however you want. That place, Rocco's in Omaha, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, this shot thing they do. At first, I thought it was just a genius marketing ploy and they make a lot of money. Then I heard they give the proceeds to the homeless, the food bank, not the homeless shelter, the food bank in Omaha, a couple of food banks, $1 to one, $1.50 to the other. Then I realized, okay, that's $1.50. The shot charge is $5. They ain't using Absolute or, even like Stoli or something. They're using Dobra or Aristocrat, those half-gallon handles made out of plastic that cost like $3. That vodka, rot gut type stuff, Aristocrat, Dobra. Those Jello shots are costing Rocco's everything, labor, the liquor, the Jello, the refrigeration, electricity, under 50 cents a shot, like 10, 20, 30 cents a shot. Let's say 50 cents just to make it easy. $1.50 to the food bank, 50 cents in product and costs, $3 profit. No, Rocco's, they're geniuses. Just the contest, who can do the most shots, which school. Ole Miss held the record. LSU wants to beat that record. So folks are buying up shots like $100 bill. Give me the shots, sanding them out. 20 shots for $100, hand them out. $20, 20 shots for $100. 20 shots cost Rocco's about $6-8. They're making $92 on the $100 in shots. I think north of 40,000 shots sold for Rocco's. So you do the math, 40,000 shots sold at $5 a piece. That's $200,000 in shots sold. If they're making $3, they made 120 grand, 6 figures. Rocco's paid off the mortgage. Now, I thought all of the proceeds went to the food bank because I'm like, folks aren't just doing shots. They're getting a beer. They're getting food. They're getting pizza. They're getting other. It's a draw to bring people in Rocco's. But for whatever it's worth, I think your boy Rocco is double dipping a little bit. He's making money off of all the people buying drinks, pizza, and all that other stuff that come. And he's making a lot of money off the shots. And he can tout it as, hey, you're helping support the food bank. Todd Graves of Raising Cane's bought 30 grand in shots to help win the contest. Also to like the largest bar tab at one time or something like that. Guinness Book of World Records gimmick. And one of the things he said, hey, I have the means to do it. I love LSU. Get the fans hyped up in it. And it's for a nonprofit. No, it's for a profit. It's for Rocco's. $1.50 of $5. What is that? About 40% goes to the food bank. And about 60% goes to Rocco's. Anyway, LSU beating Wake Forest in extra innings last night. A thriller, 11 innings. Tommy White walk-off. Great defensive play by Trey Morgan at first, late in the game. LSU beats Wake Forest 2 in a row. 2 times out of 3 this week. College World Series weekend. The Florida Gators await. Fletcher Mackel made some really great points. I love getting Fletcher on. One, he said the College World Series, the Omaha thing, probably too long. Should be like a Final Four, not an Elite Eight. I might agree with that. Maybe have super duper regionals where 8 teams play the 8 other teams. 4 teams play the other 4 to get to a Final Four. Then you go to Omaha. And then maybe you make it a best of 5, so there's some slight extension of play over the weekend. Maybe a best of 5. Maybe it stays a best of 3. But the week in Omaha is too long. Also, because, these regional weekend, super regional next weekend, super duper regional the next weekend, Omaha the weekend after that, you could see Skeens pitching this weekend. The best pitcher in America, the best pitcher in the country, 2nd, 3rd pick in the Major League Baseball draft coming up, and he's not pitching this weekend. in the best 2 out of 3 national championship series against the Florida Gators. Skeens is unavailable. No, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. You know, I like the Omaha length where, hey, you got to have the pitching staff and all that. You got to use your pitchers wisely, all that, because you have other games to play. I get all that. But also, Skeens not pitching. No, I think the College World Series needs to add a super duper regional to get it from 8 to 4. Omaha is 4 teams. Maybe you make it a best of 5 series in Omaha if you want to do that. But you spread it out week after week after week. That way, with the super duper regional and then Omaha, you're in the 4th of July weekend. Omaha would fall on the 4th of July. The College World Series would fall on the 4th of July. You'd have, the second game of the 2 out of 3 on the 4th. And the 3rd game, if needed, would fall on the 5th of July. No, I think there's a way to improve it. I think Fletcher Mackel, the 9 days of Omaha, too many games, you might have something there, although it was a hell of an enjoyable week if you're an LSU fan with those Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night games, made it a great week. But also, we won't see Skeens again. There is something fundamentally wrong with that. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Frank Brigtsen next.
The Woodhouse Day Spa with 5 area locations. New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, hey, what can I do to give you a hand? He said, well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know? It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce. Economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint. and supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. Like Brigtsen's in the Riverbend, in the Carrollton section of Uptown. Proudly serving Leidenheimer French bread in the little bag, too, with the room temperature soft whipped butter. Hot Leidenheimer French bread, that hot butter, so good. Leidenheimer since 1896. Hey, speaking of Brigtsen's, we got Frank Brigtsen on the line. What's up, Frank?
Well, yeah, Corey, TGIF, my friend.
How's it going, brother?
Doing very well, thank you. Enjoying a beautiful weekend here in New Orleans.
I've got lots of questions as usual for you, but I got an interesting one to start off, too, actually.
Okay.
Is your first name Franklin?
No.
It's just Frank.
It's just plain Frank.
No Franklin.
Nope.
So it's not Benjamin Franklin Brigtsen.
No.
All right. Just Frank.
Henry Brigtsen Jr.
Nice. Just Frank, not Franklin.
Yep.
And who started the Leidenheimer French bread in the bag at the restaurant?
Well, actually, we wrap it in a linen napkin is what we do.
No, that's what you do, which I love. You're right. You guys do a linen napkin. Other folks do the same thing, pretty much does the same deal. You're trying to keep the heat in as long as possible.
Exactly. We pull it right out of the warming drawer and wrap it and put it right on your table.
Yep.
And I like the bag, though. I think that's a cool thing.
I do, too. I would wonder if some folks at a high-end restaurant are kind of like, why is this bread in the bag? Oh, this is not right. You know?
I'm trying to think who does that. I can't remember.
Well, like, Manali's.
Yes.
And it's got their logo on the bag. I'm trying to think.
Exactly.
Roost Chris does the bag.
Mm-hmm.
With their mediocre steaks. I said that, Frank, not you.
God bless you.
Yes, yeah, true. There's a few others, but yeah, I think that's a New Orleans gimmick more than anywhere else, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I know some people are surprised at, I don't know if they still do it either, but at Antoine's, they just set the loaf on your table.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like you're in France, just walking around carrying it in your hand.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, why is Leidenheimer so beloved? Like, why aren't, high-end restaurant like Brigtsen's or these others I mentioned? Why aren't it in some like artisan-made bread,
Well, I think that's very nice too. But, we want to be true classic New Orleans. And I think French bread is something that I had at every meal growing up.
Yep.
And I think it's what people expect. There's nothing like it, and I remember Sandy Wan, the Wan's own Leidenheimers, was telling me after Katrina, we had a lot of stories we told each other, and they opened in Baton Rouge because they were selling so much bread up there. They opened a bakery up there, and they couldn't duplicate the bread. It just wasn't exactly the same. So they shut the plant down.
That's hysterical.
And continued to deliver from here. And his theory was that it was the ovens.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The water and the ovens.
I bet. The water and the ovens.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, the water and the dough. It's like New York pizza dough. It's New York water in that pizza dough. That alkali, that pH, that's the important thing for that pizza dough, for that New York flavor. And I think there's something to it. It's a New Orleans baked bread that's for po' boys and restaurants and for consumers to eat.
I agree.
I think the dough and the ovens And the water of New Orleans, definitely. That's amazing. That's a good story.
And we just love it. I like to hear that knock when the outside is nice and crisp.
Yep.
You know, you knock it on the table a little bit. I just love that.
Exactly. No, it's like an eggshell. It's great, and then it's soft.
Yeah,
center,
an eggshell. That's a good.
You put that butter on it, just melts in. So good. It's hard to
love
beat.
it.
Frank, I'll tell you something interesting before we get into what's cooking. I'm half Lebanese, Syrian. My mom's 100%. So, my grandmother was situ, Arabic for grandmother, shish kebab and grape leaves and tabbouleh and, all that, majedra, all these things I grew up on, this Middle Eastern food. A vine, 100 years old from Lebanon in our backyard. My mom would pick the grape leaves herself, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, pita bread's great. I love good pita bread.
Mm-hmm.
And kibbeh nay, I guess, is like a steak tartare for folks that guess the analogy. Just raw kibbeh, like the fried football kibbeh that people eat. This is that outer shell, just raw. And you eat it. It's just the meat and the wheat, and it's refrigerated. And you kind of just mash it down with a fork, put some olive oil on it. It's refrigerator cold, and you eat it with pita bread. As a New Orleanian growing up, French bread instead of pita bread, and the olive oil absorbing qualities of the French bread compared to the pita bread. I'm sorry. The New Orleans Lebanese Syrian version of kibbeh nay with French bread kicks the Middle Eastern version with pita's rear end all across the street.
Oh, boy, that sounds delicious.
Because that olive oil just, is all over that French bread. Anyway.
That's wonderful.
Yep. No, my mom, hard to get her to roll grape leaves now, hard to get her to kibbeh. I'm cracking the whip, try to get her motivated. She gives me this I'm 93 nonsense. I'm like, I ain't buying into that. Get cooking already, Mom.
Oh.
Yep. Now, when she does grape leaves again, Frank, I'm going to bring you about a dozen or so.
Oh, I love it. What a wonderful heritage.
Yeah, it really is. Incredible food. Underrated food.
Yes.
And so simple and basic.
Yeah, and most great food is. The classics are classic for a reason.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, what's going on at Brigtsen's tonight? You throw something out there that's new or different? What you got going as we roll into summer?
Well, let's see. All good things must end. This will be our last week for our Creole tomato salads. My farmer brought by his last case.
God, it seemed like a quick season.
It was. It was very early season. I'm sure there's tomatoes out there, still, but I only buy from this one farmer because his tomatoes are so perfect. So that'll be coming to an end.
The tomatoes are they're a little ugly. They're not a round stem on the top. It's got the little stem things breaking off from the round part too, right?
Yeah, exactly right. And they're truly vine ripened, ruby red inside and sweet as candy. So that's on the menu this weekend.
My Latino friends say that down in South and Central America, obviously close to the equator, more variety, sweeter fruit, vegetables. Like, we don't care what it looks like. We care what it tastes like. In America, y'all are fixated on what it looks like. Apples, perfect looking. Oranges, perfect looking. He goes, problem is, this guy's like a scientist. He's like, you're sacrificing flavor for appearance. And
no, that's true.
And the Creoles that you get, they ain't worrying about a beauty contest. They're worried about the flavor contest. So it's got the vine cuts on the top, and that's a real Creole.
Absolutely. The grocery store Creoles are usually a different variety than what I use. This is the celebrity variety, which is to me the true Creole. And but a vine ripened tomato, the grocery stores may not want that because it's going to get bruised and perish and not have good shelf life, et cetera, et cetera. So some farmers have responded to that by growing a different variety that's maybe a little more uniform in shape and not quite not ripe at all.
I mean, I think those big cuts in the top and not that perfectly round stem removal, I think a lot of people would shy away from buying that tomato, generally speaking. Where New Orleans that know that's the one you want to buy.
No, I agree, and I think generations from my generation to now, they don't even know about it because they've been buying tomatoes in the grocery for so long.
Yep. So what's that salad about?
Thick slice, room temperature Creole tomatoes, Vidalia onion, thinly sliced so you can see through them.
Wow.
Pesto, balsamic vinaigrette, and grated ricotta salata cheese on top.
Wow.
And it's just a perfect salad. And
especially for summer.
Yeah, absolutely. And nature has a way. And it's just a way to showcase this great local product that we have.
You're right.
We also buy okra from this gentleman as well. Beautiful tender okra. So we're doing shrimp and okra gumbo with andouille sausage.
Wow.
We, by the way, we'll be open next week. And then the following week, we're going to be on vacation for a week. So
you do that every year.
For 1 week.
You do that every year, the 4th of July week, right?
Well, it changes from year to year, but this year it is 4th of July week. So come see us next week and catch us before we shut down.
You got any openings tonight or tomorrow night?
We do. Tonight was a little soft. So give Martin a call. She's on the phone tonight. Tonight was a little soft, and probably because of LSU baseball, perhaps. I don't know what's going on.
No game tonight, so Brigtsen's has some tables.
Well, it's not that then.
No, Brigtsen's has tables. You've been waiting to go. 861-7610. Call them right now and get that reservation for tonight. 861-7610. Cancel that other place you were going to or the friendly place that you always know has a table available. You can go there tomorrow night. Brigtsen's 861-7610. How about tomorrow night, Frank? Openings also tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think there's probably some a window tomorrow night as well. Tomorrow night we're going to start our white chocolate bread pudding. Tonight is banana, and tomorrow we're going to switch over to white chocolate, which was, of course, as far as I know, created by my good friend Dickie Brennan Jr. at Palace Cafe, and took the city by storm in the 90s when he came out with that dish. So we do a version of that too, and that'll be on tomorrow. We also have our strawberry dessert on with tres leches cake with strawberry sauce and topped with chocolate whipped cream. Great way to finish your meal.
That's that, I want to say.
Pie, of course.
That's like the sugar-soaked cake.
Yeah, it's a sponge cake, and we make a mixture of 3 milks, canned milks, evaporated milk, condensed milk, and I use coconut milk. So
Nice.
It's a coconut tres leches. We pierce the cake with a fork, pour the milk mixture over the top, and let it sit overnight.
Wow.
So you get this really luscious, light piece of sponge cake.
I was going to say that's a whole different sponge bath than what maybe folks are used to. That cake's just soaking in it. That's great.
Yeah, it is. That milk is so delicious.
Hey, not to kind of throw out a basic one out there, but you got to have it on the menu. And I don't think it's a step down in the least. I think you can put it up there with the trout pecan or the tuna, any of your dishes. The filet that you have because of the sauce and the quality of the Angus beef.
Yeah, the beef dish has been selling really well this week, actually. It's certified Angus beef, which is a high-quality grade of beef. And that's served with a tasso marchand du vin sauce.
Wow.
And I make the tasso myself. Cured smoked spicy pork seasoning meat. that I made myself, and it's garnished with fried shallot rings. Served with Yukon mashed potatoes and sauteed veggies.
Yeah,
really nice dish. Pork chop. I had quite a few comments on that last night. That's with stone ground fontina cheese grits and andouille pated gravy made with a brown roux. It's a good meat and potatoes type of dish.
Yeah, that's comfort food right there.
Absolutely.
Hey, Frank, real quick before we let you go, just fire off the fish dishes real fast.
We have pan-fried speckled trout with Meuniere sauce and pecans.
Yummy.
Blackened tuna with smoked corn sauce, black bean salsa, and roasted red pepper sour cream. Broiled redfish with crab crust.
Wow.
And lemon crab sauce. And then, of course, our seafood platter, also known as the Shell Beach Diet. And that's with a combination of different things, including grilled redfish with crab meat pesto sauce, shrimp cornbread with smoked corn butter, baked oyster fortuna, jumbo up crab meat with a tomato basil concasse, and baked scallop of the half shell with herb scent cream spinach.
Not a single thing fried on the seafood platter.
Nope.
Yep, that's awesome. 861-7610, Brigtsens.com. They have to-go orders. You can pick up a to-go order. 861-7610. They've got openings tonight and tomorrow night. Tuesday through next Saturday. Then the 4th of July week, Frank and Marna and company take the week off like they do every year. We missing anything, Frank?
That's it, my friend. Y'all have a lovely weekend.
Frank, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Corey. We love you, New Orleans.
861-7610. Dial them up. Get in there tonight. They've got openings tonight. 861-7610. You won't be disappointed. Brigtsens in the River Bend, which you old Metairie, old Jefferson, Metairie, Kenner folks, wherever you live out there, if you get to Causeway and River Road, you're less than 5 minutes from Brigtsens. It's right down River Road, cross the tracks over Oak Street, continue down River Road in Orleans Parish for about 6-7 blocks. Right there on your left, right before where you can get on to St. Charles Avenue, a couple of blocks before that, Dante Street. They got that Dante Shopping Center. You can park Dante Village. You can park right there. Walk like 40 feet to the front door of Brigtsens. It's right off River Road. So good. Brigtsens in the Riverbend section of the Carrollton neighborhood in uptown New Orleans. Yummy, yummy in one's tummy. The Causeway Bridge has reopened. Apparently a motorcyclist was swerving around, riding like an idiot, slammed into the back of a vehicle and definitely injured himself. Injured folks in the vehicle somehow, the motorcycle's impact. The bridge was closed. Kind of less time than folks anticipated. Opened around an hour ago, about 4:40, when at first the anticipated reopening time was like 5 or after 5 o'clock. So good job by Carlton Dufresne Show and the Causeway folks. LSU beats Wake Forest in extra innings, a pitching thriller last night. No score, 11th inning. Tommy White, walk-off, 2-run shot against a pitcher he may have seen. Tommy White, the transfer from NC State in the ACC, playing Wake Forest in the ACC. The play of the game made by a New Orleanian, arguably, Trey Morgan's play at first, where he storms home plate on a bunt down the first base line, and you've got a runner from Wake Forest coming in from third that really appears to be home. And because Trey Morgan's just so quick and fast and smart and instinctive, he was on that bunt hyper quickly. And literally, as he's catching it in his glove, his right hand is 6 inches from the glove. So right as the ball goes in the glove, the right hand's already on the glove, and he kind of backhand flings it about 15 feet to the catcher who tags the Wake Forest runner on the leg where his hand was about 4 inches over home plate coming down. So not like a second just in time, about a tenth of a second or less just in time on that particular play. LSU in the championship round tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock. Game 1. Game 2, Sunday afternoon from Omaha. And if needed, Game 3, Monday night. Best 2 out of 3, all SEC, LSU, Florida. The Gators and Tigers tomorrow night, Game 1. Unbelievable week for LSU fans. Just summertime, things are slowing down, looking for things to do, want to keep rooting for your team. LSU making an incredible postseason run. I mean, they were the consensus number 1. Expected to be in Omaha, expected to win the national championship. A couple of months ago, 8 weeks ago, not the wheels coming off, but losing some games maybe they felt they shouldn't have lost, struggling with the bullpen, struggling with, your second and third starters at time. The pitching staff just decimated by injuries since the beginning of the season. And then they right ship after about I don't want to say a 6-week drought. It wasn't that, but just not at the hyper elite level they originally were playing. They were no longer number 1, falling to number 5 in the polls. Wake Forest ascends to number 1. They hold that spot throughout the rest of the season into the playoffs or postseason into Omaha. No, but LSU got the ship righted. And they've been playing some absolutely fantastic baseball. I mean, what a great week. Monday night, you lose to Wake Forest. You go into the losers bracket. No one wanted that. Tuesday, you're replaying Tennessee again. You knock them out of the World Series. You stay alive. Wednesday, a repeat with Wake Forest. You knock them out by a run. Staying alive. Or excuse me, by a few runs, 5-2. Staying alive. You go into this elimination game last night. Loser goes home. 1 loss LSU, 1 loss Wake Forest. Loser goes home. Couple of the best pitchers, best players in baseball. Skeens on the mound for the Tigers. Lauder, the long-haired guy for Wake Forest. Both of them, their usual game. Pretty damn good. Very good to great. No runs allowed. Scoreless game. Extra innings. Relief pitchers for both teams coming in and throwing well. Tommy White, 2-run homer to end it and send LSU into the championship round against Florida. But again, the Trey Morgan play at home plate coming off a first on the bunt was amazing. So athletic. That shot challenge at Rocco's up in Omaha, it's all about Rocco's. And give them credit. It's a shot challenge, school versus school, smart marketing. Then throw in a little gravy. Hey, some of the proceeds benefit the local food bank. So the nonprofit thing is there. Hey, let's have fun, represent our school, and hey, the money goes to a nonprofit, a food bank. The shots are $5 each. 2 food banks are getting money. One gets $1 from each shot. The other one gets 50 cents. That's $1.50. So $5, all of a sudden Rocco's is down to $3.50 on that shot cost. Retail price, because $1.50 of the 5 goes to the food banks. Now, Rocco's ain't using some elite, vodka. They're using, those plastic half-gallon you know, the big handle. Those are like $4 by Dobra. Fantastic brands like Dobra, Aristocrat. It's the well stuff. It's the, you know, the bottom of the line. So the labor, the electricity, the Jello, the vodka, at most, the plastic cup the shot's in, all of it, at most, I'm being totally nice about it, 50 cents cost each shot. So $5, $1.50 to the food banks. Rocco's is making $3 profit a shot. $3 profit each shot. So if they sold 40,000 plus shots, besides all the other beers and mixed drinks and food and pizza, and they're selling a lot of that because the shot contest lures people in, Rocco's this week made 6 figures easy. If you base it off of 40,000 shots sold at $5 each, and I think it's north of that now, you're looking at $200,000 in shots sold, $200,000, $80,000 going to the shelter, and $120,000 going into Rocco's pocket as profit. $120,000. Rocco's is all about Rocco's, not about the food bank. And hey, more power to them. Great marketing. But I think a lot of folks like, man, helping my school is for a nonprofit. Nah, it's for Rocco to pay off his mortgage. I think so. Hey, are you on the Causeway Bridge? It's back open. Could have been a little frustrating, that wait for you earlier. Why don't you turn it into a positive? Make a little lemonade out of those lemons. Trey Yen. Bring home a big to-go order of Trey Yen. Mom, dad, the kids. Everybody's happy when you walk in the house and you got a big Trey Yen to-go order. Don't forget the Tung Cho sauce tonight for dinner. Over the weekend, Trey Yen in Mandeville. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Hey everyone, it's Casey Kasem with another top 40 hit that's sweeping the nation. Because I'm Vappy.
Because I'm Vappy, supposed to be patrolling the streets as a cop. Instead, I do it my way. Because I'm Vappy, hanging out at the Puntaba apartment with Junket Cantrell all day. Because I'm Vappy, on the clock, not patrolling the street. Instead, kicking back and still getting paid. Because I'm Vappy, waiting for the cable man, water plants and chilling, hey, because I'm Vappy on the city payroll, not working, because Montalba's such a nice place to stay, because I'm Vappy earning lots of money, because who wants to work when one can play, because I'm Vappy violent crime in the city, but hanging with the mayor, got nothing more to say, because I'm Vappy, because I'm Vappy, because I'm Vappy.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both on Royal Street and in the CBD on Barone in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home. From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. woodhousebars.com.
You know, body language tells you a lot about what a person's thinking. For instance, that means she has an interest in the finer things in life.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
That means she also wants a little fun in her life, but only with the right man.
Corey Johnson.
Now she's pouring a Colt 45, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, you right.
Mind if I join you?
You must have read my mind.
Something like that.
The power of Colt 45. It works every time.
Wow, what a script. And then Billy D. Williams, you go, some like that. Not something like IN with a little tilde at the end, some like that. We need you to be really kind of laid back, smiling, kind of poop-eating grin on your face, something like that. Awesome marketing. Billy D. Williams, like Wilt Chamberlain, 10,000 women. Maybe. I don't think Billy D. Williams had any problem with the ladies. Next week, a heat wave rolling through New Orleans. Is like, what are we dealing with right now? Next week, we're talking like Monday through Friday, like highs around 97, 98 degrees. Higher humidity. The feel-like temperatures could be like $110 on some days, some parts of the afternoon next week. So I'm sitting here saying stay hydrated right now because every single day we're, shouldn't say every day, but pretty much every day we creep into the 90s, mid-90s, 94, 95 degrees. Feels like 104, 105. It's going to be 97, 98 next week. It's going to feel like 108, 109, 110. Harsh. Stay hydrated. And if your air conditioning goes out, it's just unacceptable. You can't sleep in the heat. You don't want to go to a hotel. You don't want to sleep with the in-laws at the in-laws. You call Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River City's Total Maintenance. They'll take care of you. Every day on radio, television, YouTube, we broadcast live from the Buddy Deliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. If you need air conditioning help, NOLAAC.com. They're there for you. NOLAAC.com. That's River City's Total Maintenance. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. If you missed a lot of the show, you missed a lot. 4 o'clock hour. Fletcher Mackel joined us talking about LSU. Incredible week of baseball. They crank it back up tomorrow night. It's tough to beat. It really is. 4 straight nights. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 straight nights. 6:07 first pitch. Nationwide television audience either on ESPN or The Deuce. Awesome. Winning the last 3 games that you had to. And now it's LSU Florida for the national championship. Best of 3 starts tomorrow night at 6. They'll do it Sunday afternoon. And if needed, Monday night at 6. What a great week for LSU fans. And just a classy team, classy fans at the hotel applauding Wake Forest when they returned. LSU fans doing it. Jay Johnson with some classy moves. I want to win the national title more than breathing air, but I want to keep doing what we do with you guys. Most fun I've had in my life. Just team loving it. Tight team. Pretty cool stuff. Enjoy it, Tiger fans. It's been one hell of a week, and it continues. At least 2 more games. And at stake, the national championship. Maybe Jay Johnson's Tigers join Kim Mulkey's just a short time later. Yeah, Fletcher Mackel joined us to discuss that. Our usual Fridays with Fletch. Around 4:35, Michael Hecht joined us for 25 minutes. He's with Greater New Orleans, Inc. We do that every Friday. That's always brought to you by Laitram. And then, of course, we do it every Friday at 5:20 with Frank Brigtsen from his restaurant in the Riverbend, Brigtsen's. They've got some openings tonight. Looking to go get dinner? Trying to find a place? You're undecided? 861-7610. That's the number at Brigtsen's. 861-7610. I love when Frank Brigtsen joins us on the program. I like Fridays. Monday through Thursday, a lot of, the regular talk, Vappy and the mayor and all that garbage. So it's nice to be able to kind of unwind a little bit on a Friday and talk a little sports, positive things about the economy and food. What's that, Blue Boy? If there wasn't Friday, we might implode. You're right. You're right. So much going on every day. We always have topics. Hey, New Orleans, thanks so much for checking us out. Have a great weekend. Go Tigers. See you Monday.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.